Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Tuesday! It's Tuesday, day number 2 of a work week. Because you didn't know that, right? Anyways, we are on card number 14 of getting into the Vortex / self-awareness. The Vortex being the core of you, not your body itself, but your soul. That was probably not the right way to say that. I sound like I'm trying to steal it. But your soul. So anyways, I'm going to start with the thoughtful cards because thought cards, I really like these. My cousin gave them to me, and I'm not sure she realized what she was giving up because they're pretty badassy. But I love them. They're just wonderful, wonderful quotes and sayings from, they're called Daily Magic Alchemical Thought Cards. But you know, I like them. So we're gonna do this first before we get to the cards, so we can wait for people to pop on. All right. Let's see here. Nothing's popping out. So I'll do one more shuffle and see what happens. Whoop. That was a bad shuffle, but hey, look, a couple of them turned upside down. So turn that brown upside down. All right. Let's go with the first one. You are creator and created. That is the paradox of life and the key to alchemical creation. I never know if I'm saying that right? Because I know what alchemy is, but I've never seen it like alchemical. I'm making up words. So anyways, you are creator and created. That is the paradox of life and the key to alchemical creation. So basically saying you made who you are today. You are a product of whatever it is that you, allow yourself to be. So be it, do it, feel it, see it, all these wonderful things, right? Just go for it. I had this the other day. When would now be a good time? When would now be a good time? If you were a procrastinator, I'm a class A procrastinator. If you were a procrastinator, now is never going to be a good time for you. So here's my advice. Just do it. All right. Just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. All right. Or, I don't know. Just do it. Just do it. You will see it when you believe it. Your thoughts create your reality. Bend your mind. Whoops. You know what? I think I'm supposed to save that one because I think that will be the segue right into that one. Our card for the day. Master of frequency or victim of circumstances, your choice. Oh, that's a good one. Master of frequency or victim of circumstances, your choice. And if you notice, your choice, even though it's backwards, your choice is bolded with master of frequency. And this is another good one. The master of frequency is also going to lead us into today's card. I'm looking right at it and it's so cute. It is adorable, beyond adorable. But you can be the master of your frequency. And we talk about vibrations all the time now because that's basically what these cards are focusing on, are the vibrations and the vibrations that you put out there. What are you putting out there? Are you putting out something magical or are you putting out something pretty detrimental to your life? That's up to you. That's up to you. No one can tell you what to do. No one can, force you to do whatever you're going to do. You are going to do it. I do realize that there are some people in this world that struggle a little more. Their brain, and I get that and I understand that. And for those people, just practice makes perfect, but journal. These are the people that I really wish would journal because you get all this shit out of your head and onto a piece of paper. And then if you want to burn it. You can look at that as a metaphysical thing or you can look at that as a therapy thing. Just throw it, write it down, throw it away, do whatever you want to do. Okay, in the metaphysical thing, it means you're burning it and removing it from your life and tossing it out to the universe to say, hey, okay, I'm letting this go. For therapy kind of stuff, and do it safely. Okay, if you're a person who likes to play with fire, pour water on it and throw it away. Seriously. But kind of coming back from a really bad joke. Not a joke, though. Like funny, not funny kind of thing. But when I say this, it's because on a therapy standpoint, when you burn something, you're letting it go. You're ashes to ashes and sending it off to wherever it needs to go. And please, if you're going to burn things, do it safely in a fire safe bowl. Don't throw it away until you know that it is out. All right. Don't leave it out in the wind. Don't just be very careful. If you're not sure, fill the sink with, no, don't fill the sink with water. Fill a bowl. Fill the same bowl with water and just drop the paper in. Let it soak up, let it do everything, mix it, get rid of it, So, you will see it. Here's the last one. You will see it when you believe it. Your thoughts create your reality. Bend your mind. Sorry. Again, you will see it. Oh, God. Sorry, my throat. My throat feels fine, but I can't stop coughing. You will see it when you believe it. Your thoughts create your reality. Bend your mind. Bend your mind. And what it means by that is, a lot of times we're taught a certain way. And the reason I'm glad I saved that card for last is because the next card is really going to kind of be like, oh, I get it now. But, we're taught how to think sometimes. And I think sometimes, there are generational differences. Okay, sometimes we learn on our own how to do things. Sometimes we just say, oh, well, this is how it was done and how I was taught and this and that. And we don't really think for ourselves. I was always taught to think for myself, okay, especially when I got older. And yeah, I was raised a certain way, but I was also taught to just follow my path and follow what I believe in, follow what makes me happy, brings me joy, and all these things. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that. But, for people who believe in ghosts, we're taught at a young age, oh no, that's not real. And a lot of times it's out of fear that we're taught that these things aren't real, right? We're taught out of fear because someone doesn't want to deal with something if it's bad. But it's not always bad. Sometimes it is. So you got to pay attention. If that is your belief, you got to pay attention. But a lot of times, the innocence is just removed from us. The sense of wonder is removed from us. Oh, life is hard, and you need to do this, that, or the other, or it'll be even harder for you. Or if you go down that route, I don't want you to struggle and suffer like I did. So maybe you don't go down a certain route, and maybe you missed that opportunity because somebody told you that it didn't work out for them, so it may not work out for you. Or actually, they told you it will not work out for you, right? How many people can raise their hands and say, this is something that happened to me? That's why we have to take control. That's why we have to be the master of our frequency, or the victim of our circumstance. Which one do you want to be? Do you want to believe it? And it's not saying take your mind out, shake it, and, make it like Play-Doh. No. When they say bend your mind, they're sitting there, and these cards are saying to you, think outside of the box. Step away from what, is normal for you. Step away from what, has been taught to you, and think for yourself. So today's card of getting into the vortex or getting into self-awareness. Again, the vortex is basically, to me, it's like this part of your soul, like the heart of your soul. It's where you manifest from. It's where you pray from. It's where you set your intentions from. And this one is, babies are thinking and attracting before they are speaking. Babies are thinking and attracting before they are speaking. How cute is that card, right? Even though you are only months old in your physical body, you are a very old and wise creator focused in that baby's body, and you came with powerful intentions. Now, this is interesting, okay? Because you saw me shuffling, and you saw how these cards just kind of did their own little, nosedive out of the thing. You are a creator. You are a creator and created. That is the paradox of life and the key to the alchemical creation. Okay, so you are a creator. And right here, even though you are only months old in your physical body, you are a very old and wise creator, focused in that baby's body. And you came with powerful intentions. People often assume that because a child is not yet offering words, the child could not be the creator of its own experience. But it is our promise to you that no one else is creating your experience. Children emanate vibrations, which are the reason for what they attract, even from their time of birth. So, basically what this card is telling us is that even when we were children, even when we were babies and couldn't, articulate anything, we were creating. Maybe that's sometimes when you hold a baby, maybe you're super nervous, right? And you're wondering why the baby's crying. Well, the baby can probably feel your nervousness. And maybe they're crying, not because, maybe they're uncomfortable because you're making them uncomfortable because you're nervous, or maybe they're crying to get your attention so that you'll pay more attention to them and less on how nervous you are. I don't know. I'm not in a baby's brain, but these are some things to think about. Instead of just handing them off, try to get rid of your I don't know, your nervousness, and just, I'm kind of bringing up me because I get nervous holding little babies because they're so tiny, and they're so fragile, and I'm always afraid I'm going to hurt them because, they're babies. So, I was that way with all of my nieces and nephews. It's just like, oh my God, they're so tiny. But, unless they were born with the Lucas head like I was, which is big. But, I had to. But anyways, but babies are thinking and attracting before they can talk. And I think what we need to remember from this is maybe when we struggle to set that intention, to set that prayer, to set that manifestation, maybe this is trying to tell us to go back to the basics, go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning before, how did you get your food? How did you do this, that, or the other? You're hungry. You start emanating. I'm hungry. Someone feed me. And, maybe a person picks up on it right away, or maybe you got to start crying to get some attention, right? Whatever the case is. But the way I'm looking at this card, when babies are little, they're not in tune to what is and isn't real. What isn't real. Okay. And I'm saying what isn't real in quotes because we don't know what is and isn't real. People will sit there and tell you ghosts don't exist. I got news for them. I've had my own experiences. And, that's just me. And I'm not telling you to believe, but I'm just saying, before we sit there and tell people that they do or don't, just let them have their opinion. Let them have, if somebody doesn't believe, that's okay. I can't tell you how many ghosty shows I watch, right? Where the people, I was never a believer, and then this happened to me, and it's like, oh, I believe now. Sometimes they just have to experience them for themselves. And sometimes maybe they just don't want to because, maybe it does scare them. And you don't want to force somebody into an uncomfortable situation, right? But, that being said, when we go back to the beginning, when we go back to that innocence, we're going back to a place before all this stuff that we believed in was taught right out of us. No, that doesn't exist. No, only this exists. Only that exists. You're silly to believe that. You're silly to believe in this. Or you're silly to like that because it's not real. Why do we steal that from children? Why do we sit there and tell them no? No, 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 no. My mom used to tell me that, because I was raised very Catholic. My father's an agnostic. My mother's a Catholic. I know. How does that work? But it did. And the glorious thing about that is my father always taught me question everything. And it was kind of like a contradictory type of upbringing because it's like, well, I believe in this, but mom says this and the church says this. So it gets confusing until you get older and you start picking and pulling what works for you. And some people sit there and say, no, it's all or nothing. No, it's not all or nothing. The God I believe in says, hey, do your thing. Don't force other people to fall into line with what you believe. Just live your life. And if they pick something out of there that works for them, that's great. It's just like this healing journey I've been on, this mental health journey I've been on to kind of try to balance my own. It's not cookie cutter. It's not just, this is how it is. This is how regimented it is. Everybody's different. And people pull from different things to make one thing work for them. And what works for some people may not work for somebody else. It's just like medicine, right? If you're on specific meds, some medicines work for some people, some of them don't. And they have to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out what does work for them. But it's not our choice or our decision, or I should say it's not up to us to tell somebody else how to think. When I do these perspectives, that's exactly what it is. It's my perspective. And if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, then maybe there's something in there that might sit in your brain for a while and go, oh, okay. But I like this card. And this card, I am literally going to tell everybody across the board to really pay attention and focus in on. Because babies are innocent. Babies come free thinking. You know, they're just like, woo, here I am in this new world, ready to learn all kinds of things. Don't teach things out of children. Teach them things. You know, teach them if they have a gift, help them lean into it. You know, but tell them, hey, you know what? There are certain people, you know, maybe it's a certain type of gift. I've had gifts since I was a child, but I was told to ignore them. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I really started leaning into them again, thanks to older sibling who really kind of, you know, took me by the spiritual hand and said, hey, you know what? All the things that you've been able to do, you know, you should hone it. You should ramp up your skill set. And so I did, and I moved in a different direction, and sometimes it scared my mom until I explained it to her and I told her about it, and sometimes make my dad would eye roll me, but you know, people come around to things when they choose to come around to things, and sometimes they don't. But you know what? Even if you disagree with somebody else's beliefs, don't push them out of your life. Okay? Embrace them. Embrace them and be proud of them for being brave enough to be different. It's not easy being different. I mean, I know a lot of people who toe the line of different like I do. And it's not always easy because the majority of people out there are going to try to tell you how to think, tell you that how you're thinking is wrong. You're going to hell. You're going to do all the, you know, all these things that they have no idea. They're telling me what a book told them, right? Not what God told them, what a book told them. And I'm not putting down the book at all. I was raised on the book. And there's a lot of things that I do pull from it, but there's a lot of things that I disagree with in there as well. And that's just my opinion. And I'm not going to go any further on that because I don't want to lose people here. But that really is just my opinion. I believe God is someone not to be feared, but to be revered. Someone to lean into when you have troubles. Not to wait for fire and brimstone to come down on you. You know, I mean, people that teach that, why would you teach, you know, why would you praise somebody and then immediately tell people to be afraid of them? Doesn't make any sense to me. But it's what fits certain people. And I guess I'm a little passionate about that because it's something I watched yesterday. And I was just kind of like, are you kidding me? Are you joking? And like I said, it's not my place to tell other people how to think. I grew up in organized religion and I found my own path later. And I've had people unfriend me on Facebook who were family and some friends because they don't believe in what I believe in, or maybe the things I believe in they grew up with. And you know, the way I grew up or the way I learned these things, there's no ill will, no bad intentions. But I can't help what other people do. There have been people in my family that have misused their gifts and misused their powers, and not for the greater good, but for their own selfishness. And, you know, when you come across people like that, it's no wonder people do become afraid. But that's why I like this card. Getting into the vortex or getting into self-awareness with this card is about going back to the basics, going back to a time when you were so innocent and nothing had been taught out of you. Nothing had been forced out of you. Nothing had been said. That doesn't exist. Why would you believe in that? I think it's good to always keep an open mind. I think it's always good to wonder and to question and to, you know, just really kind of embrace the unknown. You know, we spend so much time saying things don't exist that we could be missing some really cool things, right? So, anyways, I know that went a little off in the wrong direction, and I do apologize for that because I did kind of go into my own feelings and beliefs there. But in my personal opinion, and in my perspective only, I think whoever you lean into as your higher power, don't be afraid of them. Even if there's someone who may be like, you know, really in your face kind of person, you know, I mean, there are people who believe in a lot of different things, so I'm focusing in the generalized area. There are some deities out there that might be a little in your face, but you know what? They're there because they're trying to push you in the right direction. And if you get as far as to somebody who is a higher power and they're like in your face, it means that you keep pushing against a wall that's not going to budge, because that path is not meant for you. And they're basically just trying to pick you up by the head, turn you around and go that way, go walk that way, because you're doing nothing but, basically digging yourself a hole. Go back to being a child. Find that inner child. Find that inner child, find the innocence of that inner child, and go back to a time, if you can. For me, that's not really possible. But go back to a time when there was, just nothing but innocence, nothing but the wonder of the world. When you looked at the sky and the clouds were just, I do have those moments where the clouds are just all kinds of shapes, and, you could sit there for hours just picking things out, and, two people looking at the same thing, seeing two different things. It's a beautiful thing when we go back to our basics. So, and again, like I said, I can't tell you what to do in your life, but tread lightly. Tread lightly when you're around children. You don't want to sit there and go, oh, I can't wait for Santa to come. There's no such thing as Santa. Why would you say that to a child? There's no such thing as Easter Bunny. Why would you say that to a child? In other religions, these things are real to people. Maybe not necessarily the Easter Bunny or Santa, but to me, the spirit of them lives in everything. And why would you steal that from people? I know people who are adults that believe in the spirit of Santa, right? And we're in that season. And why not? It's a spirit of giving. It's a spirit of kindness. And, being there for other people. Because isn't that what the whole idea of any kind of season is? I don't care what season it is. We should always be kind and courteous. And when we can, be generous to other people, whether it's with money or with our time. Because people out there need someone to show they care. And that's like babies. Sometimes you'll see a baby that walks right up to someone that maybe you've been terrified of, right? Maybe you have a next door neighbor that you just always kind of gives you the side eye, and the baby just might start waving at them because they see something that somebody else doesn't. And maybe they see that this person just needs a little kindness and affection. We can learn a lot from children. A lot. From their innocence, from their sense of wonder, from their ideas and their creativity. All these different things. And when we show them that anything is possible, we show them that they are possible. We show them the card, like yesterday. Perspective. Impossible or I'm possible. So, which one are you teaching? It's something to think about. All right. So, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please take care of yourselves. Tomorrow will be Self-Care Wednesday. It'll be a little bit of a shorter show because I have to take my dad somewhere. But yeah, so I'm a little excited. I'm a little excited indeed. He is going on vacation. So yay, I get to drive him and I get to babysit the car. So that'll be fun. But so anyways, good times, good times. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Facebook Live. All lives are public. Anybody can watch. It's under Shelly Marie Lucas. Let's see. Or I upload them to YouTube. And under the Aloha Perspective, I share it to my Facebook page, the Aloha Perspective. I also share these to Twitter, and I have a very short version where I just read the card and give you like a one-off thought on TikTok under the Aloha Perspective, and I also share those to Instagram. So there you go. I got the big ones covered. But again, I'm sorry if I hope I didn't offend anybody. I truly, truly do hope I didn't offend anybody. Sometimes I get a little opinionated, and then I sit there and try to say I'm not opinionated. No, I am opinionated. I have opinions, but I really try not to force my own feelings onto other people. I will openly share my thoughts, but I just also want you to know that what I'm sharing, that's just my opinion. That's my perspective. So if it doesn't fit you, that's okay. But I do want, hopefully, to maybe give you something to think on. Because these are things that people have given me things to think on. You know, I mean, there used when before we started doing all the cards, Thursday is actually things to think on Thursday, but I've been doing themed. I've been doing themed things. So we haven't really had that in a long time, but they really were just things to really kind of, you know, set your focus on, set your mind on, and give it some thought. And if it fits, it does. If it does, if it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, so again, this is just my perspective. And so again, if I did offend anyone, I do apologize, but you do you. Okay, you do you the best way you know how to do you. And just like I said, this is just food for thought. Okay, so it doesn't hurt to entertain it for a second or two, because maybe sometimes it's what we need to hear, even if it's not what we want to hear. And trust me, I've been through a lot of those stages already. Things I don't want to hear, but I need to hear. So I totally get it. Okay, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. See you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.